Imagine for a moment your pits smelling like nothing. You don't stink after you work out. Your teenager's foot odor doesn't exist. How is this possible? It's Lumi. Challenge Lumi to keep you funk-free for 72 hours. Go to uglytruth.com/Lumi. You can pick your favorite smell, the favorite type of applicator or stick or tube or wipe, and you will be amazed by your non-smelly body. uglytruth.com/Lumi. Okay, here we go. Ready? Welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode 550. God. Okay. So the last couple of weeks, Daryl and I have had this weird habit, and it bothers me a little bit. We've been having a second cup of coffee during the day. So we'll have our coffee in the morning, and then like around 1 o'clock, we'll have another cup, and it's usually espresso.
That's very normal.
I know it is.
I do it at work. I have to.
I'm triggered because we come from a family where people drink coffee all day.
That's true. And the older you get, the more you drink.
And I told Daryl that. I said, I think we're transitioning into a place that I am very uncomfortable with.
We're seniors.
I don't like what's happening with our lives. And I've also heard that at some point you can drink coffee all day and still sleep like a baby.
Some people do.
Okay.
Charles Ingalls.
Well, there you go. That's one. There's one.
Pa. Laura used to be like, Pa, you always said that too much coffee makes you can't sleep. And he's like, you're right. I did say that. Because, you know, it's like 10 o'clock at night. He comes in, puts the team away, and he's like, Carolyn, is that coffee still on?
Oh, God.
She's like, I'll get it for you, Charles.
So the other night,
Will anyone even know what that means?
I'm going through this thing right now, and we're going to talk about like our person. This is the episode today. We're going to talk about all kinds of things, but I'm going through this thing right now where every time I have a meal, my first meal of the day, I go into almost like a food coma where I literally I have to sleep for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's not just.
And then do you feel better?
I do. But what's weird is I'm like, this is a new thing, and it's obviously something with blood sugar. It's something because it's the intermittent fasting thing. And even if I eat super healthy, I get this rush.
Well, maybe you should. Why is this intermittent fasting a thing?
Because I was grazing.
You're not the only person I know who does this.
For me, it was because I was grazing all day, and I had to stop doing that because it was just horrible. It's so bad. So I was like, well, I just won't eat until like lunchtime, right? And then if I stop eating at like 7 o'clock the night before, and then I'll eat at like 1 or 2 o'clock the next day, fine. Well, the thing is that...
Does it do anything for you? I
definitely don't have like bloating issues like I used to. I have lost a little weight, but it's mostly... I have more energy in the morning, which is nice. But I have heard it's not healthy. You shouldn't do that. Your body needs energy. Yeah. Well, now I'm having this thing where I'll eat, and then I'll be like, if I don't... And I mean, I take like I'm almost snoring.
You're like asleep.
I'm asleep.
Wow.
And then I wake up and I'm like, I turn to Daryl every time. I go, what the fuck is going on? This is not normal.
Yeah.
I've never had this happen before. So I Googled all my symptoms. I'm convinced that I have Hashimoto's disease. Or some kind of thyroid condition. I'm looking for thickness in my neck.
Oh my God,
maybe,
no.
Are my eyes bugging out? I don't know. And my puffy is like every symptom I have for sure. I think.
I'm thinking it's the fact that you're starving yourself.
Right.
And your body's so exhausted from trying to exist that when it finally gets some food, it's like, oh.
That day I woke up and it was Halloween actually. And I said, I need coffee. So it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I had an espresso.
Yum.
And I'm like, yeah, it was delicious. And Daryl's like, oh, I want one too. So we had one. I'm like, oh, we're old. We're fucking old. We're old.
Jamie. We all do it. At work, people drink those freaking rock stars. They're huge.
Oh my God.
It's like a gallon of energy drink.
That's
I can't
crazy.
do it.
So then I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is the second night in a row we're going to bed at 1 a.m. And he goes,
okay, well, wait.
He goes, is it? I go, yeah. I go, we have got to stop drinking espresso at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, so does Daryl have to like be up and at him for work?
Yes.
Okay.
The last 2 days, no, but because it was like because Halloween has become this 3-day weekend type of thing.
Oh, I see.
So we were having...
For adults.
Espresso. Yeah, and I'm like, we are not old enough to have coffee this late in the day. We're still youngsters in some way because we're up till 1 in the morning. Stephanie, we were up until 1 in the morning watching Harry Potter Deathly Hallows.
Oh, Lord. Well, I mean, the young people...
And why was it interesting?
Jamie, young people do it. They drink more
crazy.
energy drinks and more caffeine than old people do.
Insane.
It's
insane.
just what they do. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, now, and then I wake up at like 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday. I'm like, this is way too late. For me, it's late. I like to be up kind of early.
It depends for me.
But 8:30 is late.
8:30 is late for me too. I mean, I would love to sleep till 8:30. When I was sick last week, I slept till, I couldn't even believe it. I didn't sleep solid. I woke up, I got up at 7, did something in the kitchen, came back in, was on my phone, and I accidentally drifted back off, which almost never happens.
Yeah.
So I let it happen. Yeah. I succumbed. I felt myself falling asleep, and I'm like, you're falling asleep, and it's like 7:30.
Weird.
I'm like, but you know what? You must be really tired because you never do this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I'll just close my eyes. So I closed my eyes. I woke up, and I felt like Rumpelstiltskin. I'm like, have I been asleep for 100 years?
What time is it?
Yes. Well, I was thinking it's like 8:30. It was 9 o'clock. Oh. I couldn't believe it. I felt so guilty. I got in the shower and I started punishing myself immediately. I was like,
you lazy ass!
You lazy ass! The dishes aren't even done. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I said, this 1 o'clock in the morning shit has got to stop, you know? And I go, and then you get into this vicious cycle, you know?
It's a cycle.
Stop, you know? And so I have stopped. Luckily, I'm like, I told him last night,
it's fun though, but you have always been a night owl.
I am a night owl anyway.
So you have to force yourself to
Well, and
sleep.
it's funny that you say that. I was just thinking that today when I was making my bed. I go, the bed looked like it was in complete disarray because I stayed up a little late. Daryl can fall asleep the second he hits the pillow. I am so jealous of those people.
Oh my God, that's Jerry.
It's so annoying.
It is so annoying.
It's because men...
And you think they're awake too because it's
not.
quiet?
No.
And it's only been like 5 minutes, so how could they possibly be asleep?
Dead asleep. And I'll say something. I'm like, I'll say, oh, this is a really funny episode. And I turn and I look at him, he's all jerking. And I'm like, oh shit, he's asleep.
He's actually asleep.
And I'm like, all right. And so then I'm up until like 12:30, just naturally, you know? So it's like, I was making my bed and I'm like, God, it's so strange because I married someone who is absolutely can get up at 5 a.m. and be ready to roll. Like, well, good morning. When he comes in, he'll bring me coffee and it'll be like 7 a.m.
He gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning?
5:30, yeah.
Oh my God, that is commendable.
He's one of those assholes that could probably get up and like work out on a Peloton, shower, and be ready to rock and roll at 7 a.m.
I've often wondered about people who do that. I'm like, I'm exhausted after I work out. Like, I want to lay down. I don't want to, like, get ready and go to work.
Well, the thing is like, if I work out, it's usually late in the day after I've done a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
I work out. I'm hot and sweaty. The last thing I want to do is get in a hot shower.
Right.
It's like, oh, my God. So I have to cool down, and I'll do whatever, and then I'll finally shower. Next thing I know, it's like 5 o'clock. I'm like, well,
it's like, well, my day's over.
The day's done. I guess I worked out today. That's what I did.
Know, right?
So I've got to find, I used to be able to do it early in the morning, but I still had to have coffee and kind of live my life. And then it's till like 10 o'clock.
Well, okay, I know you have a regular life, but I'm so jealous of your life because I imagine that if my life was to run a home, run a household, run a family, but not as efficient as I could.
Okay, first of all, you do 2 jobs, Stephanie.
Well, okay, right. Every person who works a job, and I should say a mom.
Every woman, every mother who works full time and has to take care of the home.
But we always feel
very hard.
It's very hard. But we always feel like there's something lacking or that we could do better if we had more time.
Yes.
But there's only so many hours in the day, right? So I have always wished to have my job be to be at home, and because it's a great job. It's fun. It can be very rewarding. And when you're good at it,
thank you.
If you are good at it,
nice.
When you're good at it. It's amazing, you know. There's nothing more satisfying to me, at least.
Yeah, you just don't get a day off, though.
You don't get a day off. That's true, but I don't get a day off either. The problem with me is that I have to go to work, and I only do it for one reason, one purpose. It serves no purpose other than to make money, right? Yeah. There's no satisfaction in going to work. So,
well, for you've always been someone.
That's true. I know there's women who are lucky enough to have like their dream jobs or their dream careers.
No, some people. Yeah, not all people. Most people are working to pay the man and get home and work for the weekend. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm always jealous when I hear somebody say, I love my job. I absolutely love my career. I love the company I work for. I'm like, God, I wish I could have that. Yeah, right?
That must be fun.
So for you, when I hear about that, I'm like, you know what? I think I would probably do things a little different. But it's really easy to speculate about what you would do.
Well, everybody lives their lives differently.
Yeah, I'm like, would I get up in the morning and work out and, then make breakfast or do whatever?
You think you would do this?
I know you think you would do those things. Just like I think I have all these plans for the weekend and then I just sit around like a slug and watch my DVR.
Because you're tired. You're drained.
I don't know.
It's true. Being a stay-at-home mom is definitely rewarding. I will say, though, that I went through probably 2 years of absolute depression.
Yeah.
Because I gave up my career to raise children, and I never wanted children.
Right, I
and I've
know.
been very vocal about that with the family, not to be mean. But I tell specifically, I tell my girls, I'm like, look, I go, my intention when I moved out was to never have kids. I was going to move to the city, and I was going to just work and live my best life. I had no intention of getting married. I had no intention of having children. I said,
you always did want to live in the city.
I did. I never wanted to live in the suburbs, never.
Yeah.
And I said, and of course, I fell in love with a city boy who was, you know, it ended up being great. I go, and you know, of course, I should have known that I would, because you know, not that it matters, but it's true. I'm Mexican. I'm fertile as fuck.
I know, right?
We have a lot of kids.
Mom told us that right away. She's like, don't think that you're going to be one of those women that's going to do it once and get a pass. She's like, you will never get a pass.
I never got a pass.
Neither did I.
Never.
Yeah.
I've
told this story on the show before, but Allison got pregnant when she lost her virginity.
Yeah, that's
how
much
fucking fertile we are.
Par for the course. It's like, we might be white presenting, but we're Mexican.
So.
Girl. We just are. Anyway, yeah, it is true that it is rewarding, but it was quite an adjustment. And I actually worked for a really long time before I actually fully gave it up. But
you had so many children.
Stephanie, so many.
I mean, no one would blame you.
So
Everybody
many.
would be like, look, it's just a choice you have to make.
You have to just decide.
And unless you're a doctor or you're making a politician, that you can afford to put that many kids in daycare, no one could do it.
No.
I mean,
it was ridiculous.
Many families that I talk to every single day, someone had to choose.
Yeah. It's true.
They just had to do it because
it's
$1,500 a month per child.
It's insane now. I can't even imagine what it is now.
Oh, it's crazy. That's how much it is. It's ridiculous. I mean, and if you have an infant, forget about it.
I will say this. Daryl and I think we're fortune tellers when it comes to the business world and the world of marketing.
Really?
We see things like 10 years ahead. We always see it coming.
Did you guys invest in Bitcoin?
I have a little.
Oh, you do?
I do.
See, I didn't know. Now the youngins in my work, they're all like, "Yeah, if you guys didn't get in on Bitcoin, you're fools." And I'm like,
"Well, I thought it
was a joke.
I didn't get in on Bitcoin back in the day where I would be a millionaire now, or I would have told you and I would have given you some." But no. But I do have some I have cryptocurrency. Yes, very little, but I do have some. My biggest regret was when Tesla went public. I told Daryl, I said, we have to find the money. We have to buy stock in this company.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And he's like, what is it? I go, it's going to be an electric car. He goes, that's never going to happen. I go, it's going to happen. And
it's totally happening.
To this day, Stephanie, there's nothing more I regret
than
not cobbling together $300 to buy Tesla stock.
Should have. Well, the next time you get an epiphany about something, then you're just going to do it on your own.
I do. And I did. But anyway, nothing's happened yet, but I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, it sucks because those opportunities don't happen every day.
They don't. But
the next time one
Tesla
does come
was a gem that never is gonna. I mean, it'll happen again one day, but
I mean, definitely. I feel like space travel is the next best thing in the world. Like everyone wants to figure out how to make it normal to go to space.
That terrifies me.
Jeff wants to go so bad.
I know.
So bad.
I know. I think it can. I mean, I'm not like hesitant in the sense that I don't think it's going to happen. It is going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
But
they're doing it.
The only thing, and this is the hippie in me, we're just going to ruin another planet. What are we doing?
Right. Well, there's no
planets about that.
We can't even land on anything. There's nothing out there that's sustainable, right? You cannot live. But no, I agree with you to an extent. I don't want
to look up in the sky and see a skyscraper on the moon.
No, me either.
Makes me sad.
Oh, absolutely.
We're like fucking parasites.
See, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking it's so new that, in my lifetime I won't go. I did find it interesting that
would you do it? Would you orbit
I
the
would
Earth?
do it if I was William Shatner and I was 90 and already rich, and I'm like, look, if this is the way I go out, this isn't the worst thing.
What a way to go.
Yeah. So Jerry and I were both like, oh my God, William Shatner's going to space. Well, of course he is.
Why not?
I mean, yeah.
I have to say, I would absolutely orbit the Earth.
Yeah,
I would do it.
I would too.
I want to see it.
I'm good with letting them wait. For me, waiting a few more decades to make, because something's going to happen. Someone's going to blow up.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. So let them
do it,
and then I'll go because I figure, okay, it's already happened.
We figured it out. We've learned,
right?
Yeah. No, what I was going to say about the childcare thing.
Yeah.
What I really, really freaking love about the younger generation right below us, the millennials. They're figuring shit out. They're just like, oh yeah, well, the pandemic was kind of a blessing in disguise. A lot of people are taking stock in quality of life again. And when the pandemic when the lockdown very first happened, I turned to Daryl and I said, you watch. This is going to be, we're going to go into a Renaissance period. People are going to go, we do not have to be fucking rats.
Slaves.
We do not have to be like this. We can figure it out.
Yeah.
And millennials are, well, I mean, we're in the prime earning age right now, you and I, but millennials are getting there and they're going to be like, no, we do not have to be afraid of losing our job.
Right.
We're going to figure it out.
God, I'm so jealous in that way.
They have children and they're like, no, we're staying home and raising our children.
I know.
And we're going to do it our way. And you either will lose us or you will figure it out and work with us.
And you know what?
Guess
That's what's
what?
happening.
They're losing them.
They are losing them.
And they're getting them to, and these innovative companies are
figuring it out.
Going, hell yeah, we'll do it.
I mean, because they are the most productive people ever.
They're
Because
healthy, they're young,
healthy, they're happy. They have it all. They
Yes.
don't have to sacrifice one thing for another. People like me who go to work miserable and disgruntled. I'm serious.
I know.
Because what I'm leaving behind, what I'm giving up to live a lifestyle that I want my child to have, that I want to have,
Right.
for a future, so I don't have to be freaking dirt poor.
But we're also the last of that generation. Like,
Yeah.
because we were, Gen X, by the way, badass. We're badass. We're the middle child of the generations,
Yeah.
and we take no shits. We
That's
take no
true.
fucks.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear your excuses. We don't want to hear your whiny bitchiness. But we're also the last of the line where we work for the man.
Yeah.
And we're in a position now where like we really don't have the risk that younger people do.
We don't.
Because we're like, we're about this close to getting old, and we also have a lot of college kids, and we've got
right. Responsibilities.
Yeah, and now we're kind of entrenched in it. We're kind of in a point where we've got some seniority, and you don't want to give it up.
That's true.
For what?
Well, because now most of our working life is behind us, and we're
Right.
looking forward to the future of when this will end.
And now we're trying to figure out how we want to live that third phase of our life.
Exactly.
And do we want
to maximize what you have, the time you have left in the workforce to maximize the reward, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm super happy for like my kids' age.
Oh God,
and
me too.
And right under us, because their outlook is going to look a lot different than ours. And I'm like, well, so in some way we kind of are leaving it a little bit better because we're creating businesses where they can be flexible.
Well, I mean, just that your family is a really good example of paving the way for a better future. And I'm not even talking about like, I mean, I'm talking about it on a lot of levels, but just the future, how much brighter it looks for the kids as far as being happy and having everything they want and pursuing their dreams and the things that truly bring them happiness and reward. That to me, it was never an option in my mind.
No, we have changed, and I don't mean just me. I mean our generation has changed the way we parent.
Yeah.
We're breaking a lot of those 1950s parenting cycles.
Yeah, like you don't have to get stuck in this role or this, working a job that you hate because you that's your responsibility and you will bring home money and it doesn't matter if you like it. That's what you do.
You'll get married, you'll have children and die just like everybody else. Yeah. It's not like that anymore. And I love it. I really love it.
Yeah. So, well, your kids are all like vegans or vegetarians. And it's like,
I know.
Never in a million years did I think anyone in our family would ever be like that.
They are.
And they embrace it and they love it. And they've taught me things. And I'm sure you. That I never would have known. I used to look at those people like, ugh, God, you people are so annoying.
I know.
But now when I talk to your kids about it and everything else, like, God damn it, why do you have to make so much fucking sense?
Well, they're also really educated about it.
Very.
They're not just like, I'm just doing it to save the animals.
It's not a trend. It's not a fad. No, they really, truly believe in it. And the more I talk to them about it in detail, the more I learn and the more I'm like, they're not wrong. You know what? It's like every time I eat a spoonful of something that has got fat in it, I'm like, oh my God, Yeah.
One more thing to be angsty about, right?
Well, I still do it, but at least I think about it now.
Okay, so really quick, Below Deck started.
It did.
So you've watched 2 episodes.
I've watched 2.
And are you still loving it?
I am so smitten with Captain Lee.
So Captain Lee is in full effect, yes?
Captain Lee is in full effect. Here's the thing about Lee, is he lost a child.
Yeah.
I believe this will be coming into the 3rd year. I think it's been a little over 2 years.
It hasn't been that long.
It's been very, very recent.
Oh my goodness.
So the last 2 seasons, he was a changed man. He was still, the show is still great. It's so it's produced so well. You could definitely see the sorrow in his person.
That would hurt my
yeah,
body.
it did. It was devastating. He was at Capitol Hill yesterday. He's a huge advocate for reform of opioid addiction.
Is that what his
that's what
child
killed his son?
Oh no.
So he has used his platform to try to take it to a greater level, and he's very successful at it.
Oh, good.
Because for whatever reason, people love him.
Well, I like him. Daryl hit it off with him immediately.
Yes, he's super. Even though he is the epitome of the white elite, successful man, he's just so charismatic, and he's very, very real, and he's very down to earth. So he's somebody that you can really just, like you said, like meet him at a bar and have a drink with him and not have any idea that he's famous.
Yeah, and it was so funny when Daryl did it, and he's like, I'm just sitting here talking to this guy, and he's telling me about the shipping, about doing yachts.
It's an interesting line.
And all
work,
this, he's like, oh,
right?
no. And they're just talking. And then these young girls come up like, oh, Captain Lee, can we have your autographs? Yeah, sure. So he goes, and Daryl's like, are you famous? He goes, well, I'm on a show called Below Deck. He goes, oh, yeah, I've heard of Below Deck. And Daryl is so not in tune with reality television. Unless it was Sister Wives, he'd be like, oh, my wife is obsessed.
And that's so shocking to me because he's in an entertainment industry.
Yeah, but it just never.
I know it's not his exact world.
Occurred.
Yeah.
Never occurred to him. And so he's like, oh, yeah, I am. And then he started telling him about what it's like, and and he's very casual about it.
So casual.
He's like, they just decided to start filming what I do,
It's
and so
true.
it's like, all right.
But here's the thing: not everyone can pull off a reality show.
Oh God, no!
Because they're either awkward or they're too human. And they just don't get the entertainment piece of it,
right?
Or it's not authentic. It's
right.
That kind of thing. So Lee this year, I can tell the year that has passed has done him well.
Oh, so he's got a spark back.
He has a spark back.
Oh, great!
And the thing is because he's been doing this so long. This is his 8th season. It's become very natural for him. Mm-hmm. They thankfully have realized that having him on the same yacht year after year is beneficial.
Okay.
Because he knows it. He's comfortable.
Sure.
He knows,
he's
right?
captaining
Because he's still actually doing a job. He's
right.
not just filming a reality show. He actually has to drive this fucking 180-foot yacht, this $20 million thing, and be in charge of all these people who take care of it. So I've noticed that his confidence is back. He's a health buff. God,
is he shirtless a lot?
No, he's moderate. He's modest.
Oh, okay.
And he's been married to his wife. They just celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And he adores her.
Aww.
He is just obsessed with his wife.
Does that make him more sexy?
Totally.
Oh, why is that? Is that
because he's just, because
it's like the worst thing ever to find someone so incredibly sexy and find out that they couldn't get enough of their wife for the last 30 years.
Absolutely. And she's like and she's like Betty Crocker.
Of course.
She's just what you would expect a woman in her 60s to look like.
Paul Rudd's like that, by the way.
Who?
Paul Rudd.
Really?
Oh my God, he's in love with his wife. They've been married about 25 years, and she's just a normal gal.
Kevin Bacon too, by the way.
Yeah, but they're amazing together.
Kevin Bacon, Kira Soja?
Oh my God, they're so amazing.
But I mean, they've been married 30 plus years.
And they absolutely, although I have heard them say what I've said, they're just like, well, we do have time where we have to work apart for like a couple months.
Well, their jobs don't suck in that regard.
In fact, they said lockdown's been hard.
Right?
Lockdown was hard. But it's Paul Rudd has been married to his wife for like, I think 25 years, and she's just this normal gal, and he is adorable as hell, and he's like, I love my wife more than anything. I'm like, oh, blast you, you're so much more attractive.
So this is Lee, and the thing about it is when Lee is doing his job, he also travels, so he's away from his wife for 6 weeks a year. All of these charter guests who hire the boat, they're all very wealthy, right? Because it's $180,000 to $200,000 a week to rent a yacht. And a lot of times they have focused on doing like all girl charters.
Oh, sure.
Where all these girlfriends all pitch in and they all go on the trip. Well, they always drink too much.
Of course.
Always.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. And everyone is smitten with Captain Lee.
Of course. He's cute.
He's adorable. And so I can't tell you how many times he gets hit on, slobbered on, felt up, hands on the ass, like Captain Lee, hands on the chest, you look so good, constantly. And I'm thinking, how confident must his wife be?
Oh, she's probably like, please.
To see her husband on television and watch these women and know, she's like,
you guys could not do what I do for Captain
Lee. I
suck a nail out of a fence. He's never leaving. Trust me.
Well, she's doing something right because he absolutely adores her.
That's wonderful.
And it is wonderful. So anyway, I'm very much enjoying the show. Jerry is a creature of habit. So I'm very open to it. Jerry's like, I I don't like her. Ew, she's ugly. Her forehead's too big. The show is dumb this year. And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, it's not dumb, old man.
It's been 2 episodes. It's been literally 90 minutes of content. You have no idea.
He's like, but the only one I know is Captain Lee. I'm like, and?
What else do you need?
So I have been DVRing it and watching it alone, so that I can actually enjoy it.
I did pull a faux pas the other day. We watched this show, and I know you're not into vampires, but it's called What We Do in the Shadows, and it's absolutely
amazing.
It's one of the best shows on television, literally. So the season finale.
Well, the cheese stands alone over here, by the way.
I know.
Because the things you post online, everybody's like, oh my God, that was so good. And I'm like, what is this that they're speaking of?
I know. Well, you like to live in a different vault than I do. It's just different.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so I watched it. I watched the season finale by myself. I was working out, and I watched the season finale by myself because it was 45 minutes. I'm like, oh, perfect. So that night, I get a glass of wine in me, and I said, oh, I have something to tell you. I go, I've betrayed your trust. And he gets white.
He always thinks you're going to tell him some major,
I don't know, but
I want a divorce.
He thinks I don't, like, he knows my humor by now. You would think he knows that I'm doing this. And so he's like,
scared.
And Malia's like, she's like looking side-eyed. She's like, what are you going to say to him? Because she knows obviously it's not serious if she's in the room.
Right.
So I go, well, I betrayed your trust today. And he goes, what did you do? He goes, what did you do? And I said, well, because I live such a cosmopolitan life, you never know where I've been or what I've been doing. Right. Especially these last 2 years, you have no idea where I've been. I said, well, I watched the season finale of What We Do in the Shadows. He's like, I can't believe you did this to me. He's like, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. And he goes, you know what? I go, well, I want to watch it again. That's why I told you, because I want to watch it again. And he goes, no, I'm not giving you that privilege. And I'm like, what? He goes, no. And he went to go find the clicker. I'm like, what are you doing? What, are you going to delete it? You're going to delete it? I'm like, is this what we're doing? And he's like, I'm just really upset. And I'm like, fine, don't watch it. I don't give a shit. I already
saw it.
I go, you want to know who dies?
You're so mean.
No. I'm like, fine, be that way, you big baby.
Yeah.
I'm glad I told you.
Yeah, really. I hope it stings.
Dummy. Sister Wives comes back November 21st.
I know, God, there's been so much media about these ladies.
And I just feel like we're being completely misled.
I do too.
I don't think that anything has really changed, although the social media would indicate that
Mary.
Janelle.
Oh, Janelle.
Janelle has moved to North Carolina for the winter.
Oh,
to stay with her grandbabies.
Okay.
Christine effectively has moved to Utah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Because she sold her house.
Yeah.
There's public record that she sold the house. And it was given to her.
Well, Janelle was living in a trailer on their property.
She was. And then she said for the winter she was leaving because it's arduous there.
And because it feels weird to watch your husband living his life with
in a mansion.
Oh, do they live in a mansion?
They do. Robin and Cody live in a mansion. There has been not one sighting of Cody with any of the other children or wives at all. And then Mary is... they say she's living in Flagstaff, but everything she does is at the B&B in Parowan, Utah. So Absolutely. Plus, her only daughter lives in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So, although it's like a 4-hour drive, she's still in Utah.
She is.
It seems like effectively all the older wives have moved on and living separate lives for Robin and Cody. I'm hoping that this is the final season of Sister Wives.
I kind of am too.
Because I want everyone to just, look, Cody doesn't even want to be in polygamy anymore, and based on what he's been saying.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think that would be fine. The one thing, it's so funny because they're just like, oh, Robin, blah, blah, blah. I go, look, here's the deal. If he met Robin and truly fell in love with her and truly wants to be married to her, then more power to them. Let these poor ladies move on and do whatever they want to do.
Stringing them along.
Don't say for the sake of religion that they have to be the ones to sever ties. Just say clearly we're all not going to do this.
Right.
Right? But
when he stops wanting to have sex with his other wives because he only wants to have sex with Robin,
which has been going on for a while,
a long time, it's just done.
So I am.
No one wants to be the.
Yeah, I'm going to watch this season, obviously, because I hate myself. So I'm going to watch this season and be completely disappointed, I'm sure. Because it's never...
Well, the only reason why they're doing the show at this point is because it's all their gravy train. And,
Absolutely.
And so, who wants to give up...
And it's a year old. By the time we watch it, it's a year old.
True.
So it'll be a very different... unless they do some kind of reunion show, which they haven't done in a while because everybody hates everybody.
I know, right?
So I'm like, I'm dying. But I'm like, oh, that's fine. Whatever.
Well, reunion shows have a tendency to be a little bit more raw.
They're a bit raw. Because then they had to watch all the footage. They're like, well, I didn't know you said that about me or whatever.
Yeah, right. Or just, I mean, I can only imagine if I've been married to this asshole for 25 years, however long, and watching the footage of him with Robin and seeing how happy they are and their life. And I mean, like, it would make me want to strangle him.
I'd be like, was not the deal. We got married because of a religion, not because of love. Remember? And then he did, and here we are. But I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. But the religious part needs to come to an end. The thing that people forget is that the whole point of the Browns coming forward and being public was to put a good face on polygamy. To show that polygamy is not that bad and that we're normal.
It's a willing relationship that people enter into willingly.
Consensual. We're all adults. You know, we love our children and all that stuff. We all have
the same goals and
there's just many of us. There's just many of us.
Yeah.
And yet
we make it work.
Within 10 years has completely fallen apart.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure that the reality show has a part to play in that.
Absolutely. They have money and they've been exposed to other perceptions of reality. I mean, they lived in a bubble their whole life, and then they see social media, they're on the news, you know,
they have money. I mean,
they have money.
You know, I mean, I often have wondered why a woman, because I am not pretending to know what every single woman feels, or that I can't, that I would not share the same values as a woman who chose polygamy. For some reason, it's always intrigued us.
Yeah,
all of us.
I just think it's because it is, well, first of all, I think it has a lot to do with the show Big Love. We were all so obsessed with Big Love.
But why, though? So I don't
know.
So that's what I mean. There's something about polygamy that intrigues us.
Yeah, it does.
The idea of it. And I know I couldn't live it.
No, me neither.
But it does.
I think that's why.
Maybe.
Because we can't. In a million years, I would never do it.
Yeah,
Paula says she could.
I know she does. I don't know. I don't know if it's the draw of thinking like you would have a sister wife, somebody who's not really your sister, but who understands all the same things you go through with the man, and that you're really, really close to, and that you're raising children together with. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know what it is.
But then there's the sex thing, and I just can't.
That's where I draw the line. No, yeah, right. And so, but anyway, so with this whole deal, I kind of feel like maybe these women married into the situation for their own reasons.
Of course.
But now they have options. Yep. And it's just
and they did not.
Yeah.
They didn't know they had options.
Well, and now they do. And now they have financial means to do so.
And not one of their children is practicing that religion. And none of them. They're just like, in a million years, no. And so at some point, when all of your adult daughters are saying, Mom, no. You have to wonder, well, maybe this isn't the healthiest thing for me. I mean, at some point...
is it healthy for anyone? I'm just going to say it.
I don't think so.
Like, we're so accepting of one another now.
I'm
like,
fine
you
with
do you, boo. You what makes you happy. I'm not going to judge you for it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not judging anyone who decides to do it. No. But I do question that is there anything natural in this world anymore that comes from just being a human being? Like animals are instinctive. You know what I mean? Yeah. So human beings have to have some kind of instinctive feelings and thoughts about that don't have anything to do with a choice.
I will tell you that this is just further proof that organized religion is really, really bad. Well, because the reason that they got into this is because they were told that God wants you to do this. Right. If they didn't have that and you're just polyamorous,
that's right.
That's a completely different thing. And they could have walked out at any time, but because they have this tie with religion, they think
feel obligated, like they can't.
If we don't continue this,
we're gonna die.
We're not gonna. My children won't go to heaven with me, and all this crazy shit.
But I mean, that being said, a majority of Mormons do not believe in polygamy. They don't.
No, they don't practice it.
It's a very limited few that still think it's something that they should still do. So, yes, I mean,
that is true.
It's kind of like radicalism on anything.
It is an extreme version of that faith, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so speaking of extremism, I have been losing a lot of hair.
Oh my God, I told you I have been.
You have?
I'm almost bald.
You're not bald. You don't look bald.
Jamie, every single day in the shower, I take a gob of hair out of the thing. And I'm freaking out.
This started for me, I think, in like July of last year. I started noticing that I was losing a little more hair in my brush than normal. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Too.
So
I thought it was because I bleached my hair.
Because I had recently had my hair done and I did a lighter color than I normally do. And I thought, okay, well, it's just breakage. It'll grow back.
Me too.
But no, it's coming out of the fucking root.
Right.
And so I have been taking extra vitamins. I'm doing all the things. I've changed everything, the way I blow my hair dry. I'm trying everything. And I'm like, what is this? And then I'm noticing there are most women I see, no matter what their age, their hair looks like shit.
It's bald?
They're not bald, but they have like a bigger part like I do. Or they have...
What is it?
They think everybody thinks it's stress, that the stress has gotten so extreme with the pandemic that women are literally losing their hair.
Does that mean we might grow it back though? Because that's what I've been worried about.
I think it's growing back because like here I have like these pieces.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm still losing it, and I'll go through phases where sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. Where some days
I always thought it was hormonal.
I thought it was hormones too, and then like I told you, I thought I had Hashimoto's because that's a symptom. But that means everybody has Hashimoto's.
Right, me too.
I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but I'm just saying.
That just sounds like a restaurant in Japan or something.
I think it's
like
Wendy Williams has Hashimoto's disease.
Wendy Williams is fucked up.
She's a fucked up individual, but something had
happened.
happened.
Why is she fucked up? Okay, never mind.
I don't know, but something had happened on TV, and she widened her eyes, and her eyes looked like they were going to pop out of her sockets.
Her eyes
and people were like, "You're ill, girl. Go get checked out." She's like, "Everyone, thank you for saying something. I have Hashimoto's," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay."
She's also had Graves' disease. I mean, she keeps diagnosing.
I don't know what she has.
The problem is that she's a crack addict.
That could be it. There could be some.
Actually, I think she's a coke addict. I don't know what it is.
Cocaine apparently is making a comeback. I had no idea.
Yes, and people are dying from it. Didn't you hear about that party where there 4 of them, 3 out of 4 died?
I know, and
because it was laced with fentanyl.
You know what really pisses me off is I want to try coke, and now I can't.
You know what's
because
funny?
I'm gonna die.
All the comments on that when that story happened and all those people died, all the comments were, God, whatever happened to just being able to go to a party and somebody had some
get a bump of coke,
you did a little line, and then you drank the rest of the night, and that was it. It's not like you were a coke addict or anything, but you were just having fun.
Yeah,
you can't even do that anymore
because someone's gonna try to kill
you'll
you.
Be dead. Yeah,
I'm so annoyed by that. And it just when I heard about that party and how they were just thought they were just doing coke and everybody fucking died, I'm like, oh well, this is how Demi Lovato, Tom Petty, everybody, because they were doing a bump of coke and thinking nothing of it, and then finding out that the fucking cartel is trying to kill everybody. I don't know if that's
actually no. That what the explanation is that it's
stronger.
It's very strong, and so you can sell more for less, or you can sell less for more.
So annoyed,
but they don't tell anyone.
I'm so mad.
So they're just assuming it's regular coke, and they're like, yeah, but this stuff is very strong. So you do half of what you would normally do.
And what bugs me about it is now that I'm old enough to be able to get really good shit. Yeah. Now I'm afraid I can't do it.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
Thanks a lot, you assholes, for ruining everything.
No, well, it just goes to show you that we're not of that era anymore.
God, I'm so irritated by that. I miss the window.
I'm so grateful that I experimented in my youth.
I really wish that I had been in my 20s in the 80s. That would have been such a fucking time, right?
I have said for many years that I wished I was older in the 70s.
I would have loved to have been in the prime of my life in the 80s.
Well, I'm going through a Bee Gees phase right now, and I'm kind of going through like a Bee Gees phase where I'm like,
are old.
Well, I mean, I was little when they were, or non-born. But that doesn't mean you can't appreciate the artist later on.
I love the Bee Gees. I do.
Yeah, so I've been kind of watching a little bit more like documentaries and stuff and about that time period and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, that would have been so fun.
The disco era?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, I wasn't going to go out and get AIDS or, whatever, but.
No, but still, it would have been a great
time. But it would have been fun to be in the clubs back then.
Oh my God, Stephanie.
Joking?
I always fantasize of going to Club 54, Studio 54.
God. Yes.
It would have been fun.
So many.
Insane.
Like, I would have loved to go to the Whiskey and all those places in LA.
That's the 90s. There was some prime time in the 90s, too.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, so I don't think it's hormonal. It could be, but because
I don't think it's Hashimoto's. I'm just going to say that.
Everybody is losing their hair. All the women. I was at the dentist office yesterday. I had a cleaning, and I was looking at all the women, and I'm like, everyone's hair looks like garbage. It's not just me.
Thank God.
Yeah, but I mean, my hair's so thin. I'm like, how am I not bald?
You know what? And our hair has always been our thing.
We have thin hair anyway.
Well, it's thin, but it wasn't. No, I used to always be told, like, yeah, your hair is thin, but
you have a lot of it.
But you have a lot of it.
Same.
And I'm like, I don't have a lot of it anymore.
I'm using a lot of root boosters.
Does it work?
Well, at least it feels thicker when I curl it and stuff. I feel like I have hair. Yeah. But it's like...
I never used to need as much product as I need now. I used to literally be able to like blow dry and maybe a little light hairspray and I was good.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, you should see my bathroom.
Oh, Stephanie, I have so many elixirs.
God.
So many elixirs.
And for different things. Hair, nails,
everything.
skin,
I know.
face, zits.
I'm like, I told Daryl, I said, I'm going to buy prenatal vitamins. He's like, why? And I go, because have you ever seen a pregnant woman with bad hair? No. So I'm about ready to do that. I don't know what else to do. I mean,
try it. See
at this point, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. All right. So I'm trying to think if there's any more beauty other than my sad hair.
My hair.
And it was funny because when I go to the hairdresser, I say, so Greg, I go, I don't know what's going on. I go, but my hair's so thin right now. I go, would you be honest and tell me if I have any bald spots? And he's like, you don't have any bald spots. I'm like, are you sure? He goes, Jamie, no. I said, with the amount of hair.
Have you been thinking anything?
I go,
you're just not telling me?
That's what I told him. I go, are you sure? I go, are you judging the hair going, God damn, Jamie, you have like no hair? I mean, is it like so wispy? Do I have feathers?
I'll never forget the time I had only been going to Neil for maybe 6 months.
Okay.
So I had probably gone to him twice and I was on my third visit. And I assume that because he's so amazing, he gets a lot of referrals from friends.
Oh, that's how I got that.
Right, me too.
Yeah.
Well, I referred him to you.
I know.
But I was referred to him by somebody.
Right.
So clearly somebody had referred this woman that was sitting next to me in the chair to him. Like, let's see if anyone can help you, Neil can help you.
Neil can do it, right.
Yeah. So, and he's so professional and polite. And so he's doing his thing on her. And I think I was sitting with color in my hair. So I was just sitting.
Processing.
And I wasn't even, I find it, I didn't want to be the one to be like, I don't want someone staring at me when I'm sitting there getting my hair done. And it's kind of close quarters at the salon. So you just kind of like read your magazine and eyes forward and you don't really like, you might glance up once in a while, but you're not going to sit there and stare at the woman next to you.
I zone out on my phone. I don't even pay attention to anybody.
So I'm doing that. I knew he was working on her next to me, but I really wasn't paying too much attention. I was just trying to be polite. And he's like, all right, he did her blow. I saw her go in and pay, and then she left, and he came back over to me. He's like, well, that was a hot fucking mess. And I was like, he's like, that was a train wreck. And I was like,
oh my God.
Oh, and so I immediately, I laughed,
right.
I looked to see if I could catch her and I did. She had very thin hair.
Oh God.
And, but at the same time, I immediately was like, oh
what about she say about me?
He said about me?
That's
totally.
Exactly.
So when you're saying all this about Greg, of course he's not going to tell you you're a hot fucking mess or you're a train wreck. But do they think things?
I don't know. I'm friends. I have a friend whose hair got so thin, and she had some other health issues, which probably contributed to it. But her hair got also very thin the last year, where she just lost it and cut all of her hair off because she had long hair, and she cut it to the shoulder. She goes, "I'm sick of this. My hair's so fucking thin. I can't take it." And I'm like, oh, me too. And so then she was so depressed about it that her husband spent thousands of dollars. She has the most beautiful extensions now.
Oh.
She's like, I feel like myself again. And I'm like, is this a thing? Is like all women's hair thinning because of the stress of a pandemic?
Is this how we're evolving as human beings?
We're all going to be bald?
Yeah, and the only way you'll have beautiful hair again is to have fake ones?
All I know is that if I start getting bald spots, Stephanie, I'm running to the doctor. And I'm going to be like...
But I mean, they can't even do anything.
Well, I'd be like, is this hormonal? If it's hormonal, you can take something to kind of help readjust yourself and your hair will start to grow. Things will change.
I hope so.
And I go, if this is a stress-related thing, do I need a fucking Prozac? What do I need? Like, I can't... Women will change the goddamn world if we all start losing our damn hair.
Seriously.
Collectively, the women will be like, enough with the pandemic!
I'm telling you!
Stop politicizing everything!
No, I honestly just believed it was my age. Like, I'm getting to that age, and you know what? You're not always going to keep everything you have forever. What were you thinking, dummy?
I saw a woman on TikTok, and she was sobbing, and she's pulling out chunks of hair. She's like, I'm terrified. What is going on?
Happening to me.
What is going on? Everybody's like, oh, it's COVID. I'm like, it's not fucking COVID. It is stress. Women have had it. We are done with the bullshit of this fucking world.
I'm telling you.
Enough.
I feel like that. I do feel like that. I'm telling
can't
you.
with it.
I said, you know what? I'm like, I wish there was a way that I could just accept being poor and living off of the system, and I would probably be such a happier person.
Much happier. We'd all be happier if there was no cable
the
TV.
scrutiny of life, going to work every day and be scrutinized and judged and constantly, like, it's like someone has a pickaxe or what's the thing? An ice pick,
just chip it away,
and they just keep poking at your back, and you're like,
Yeah.
It's like getting a tattoo that never ends.
I just think that we as a society have collectively, we've exhausted ourselves with the temper tantrums, with the politics,
the indulgences,
the absolute horrificness of a pandemic, a generational pandemic that is killing people left and right, leaving people ill, leaving people stressed. You know, and the thing is, it's like...
And there's no answer.
There is no answer. And the thing is everybody is looking for one and they're going insane.
It's true.
And the rest of us are losing our fucking hair.
It's true. God.
Okay, we're going to do some ugly and awkward moments this week. And since we were talking
Somebody else awkward besides me.
Yes. And, these are ugly and awkward moments spa version.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Threw up on one of these.
Oh no.
Since we were talking about our beauty concerns,
I can't.
Here's the first one. Yeah, these are good. I have 3. First one. I was getting a massage and suddenly needed to pass gas. Like an idiot, rather than asking to get up and visit the restroom, I convinced myself I could hold it. Why? Why would you?
I have an ass of steel, and I have had to hold it.
I miscalculated. The masseuse touched and squeezed the wrong part of my upper leg just below my butt, and boom, it was long and loud and
my God,
positively foul.
This is a man.
Of course it is. Trust me, I reread this to make sure. The masseuse said she was going to step out for a few minutes.
No shit.
When she finally came back, I spent the remainder of my massage apologizing and telling her how embarrassed I was. Thankful, she said...
That doesn't change the fact that I have to breathe your shit air.
Right. Thankfully, she had a good sense of humor, said she had a husband and boys. Still, I was beyond humiliated. I left a huge tip, and I never went back because I keep imagining that they've added a note to my profile saying I was the fart guy.
You were
the fart guy. I'm sure it happens. You know what they should do? I was just thinking about this. When you do massages and bodily functions come out... Ugh. When you say, okay, I'm gonna excuse myself for a moment so you can maintain your composure, air out the room, whatever, you should be able to walk out and hit a switch and a fan turns on.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be brilliantly smart instead of it smelling like fart and incense?
Oh, God, you sound like Jerry. Because he refuses for me to have, like, the spray stuff in the bathroom.
Oh,
like,
he doesn't want to mix the smell of shit.
He's like, why
spray?
do I want to smell roses and shit? I'd rather just smell shit than roses and shit.
Or maybe we can just make sure we have really good fans.
I mean, to me, it's, why, when we've talked about this before, so I know I'm repeating myself, but at my house, we have real windows.
Yeah.
So you can, and they open wide.
Open them wide.
Yeah, yes. And
open
to the point to where we lock them when we leave because a person could actually crawl through one.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use the restroom and you know what's about to ensue, why are you going to crack that thing open with like 1/4 inch?
Open
the goddamn window. And I told him this. I'm like, a crack isn't going to do the job.
We're going to have to open
Leave
the window.
it open. We're all home. No one's going to come crawling in the window. And later on, when you just have to pee and everything's safe, then close it.
It's fine. It's fine.
You just can't do it.
It's so fine. It's hilarious.
It drives me insane. I'm like, roses. We're spraying roses.
Anything's better than this, trust me.
God.
I know what your diet is, Mr. Meat Eater.
I refuse to go in there. I mean, once I see that door shut, it's like 2 hours before I'll dare to enter.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you.
It has to be gone.
I want it to feel like a refrigerator in here before I walk in the door.
Seriously.
Okay, so here's one. This one kind of makes me mad because I have a few thoughts on it, but I'm not sure. First of all, this is in West Virginia.
Okay, enough said.
A West Virginia nail technician, Sarah, she once worked at a high-end luxury salon where clients would change into robes for the full service.
Right.
West Virginia full service spa. I don't even know what that
okay.
looks like, but okay. Normally, clients leave their underwear on. However, I serviced one client who took everything off. During her pedicure, I was staring straight into her bush.
Oh, for God's sake.
She was super friendly, but every time I tried to gently cover her up, she would flick the robe off her legs because she was hot.
Oh my God.
I eventually accepted my fate and tried my best not to look up unless I absolutely had to.
She did that on purpose.
That's what I'm wondering.
I'm telling you.
She was showing off her full bush to this poor
I do.
girl?
I think people have these weird fantasies and they play them off as coy. I swear to God.
Flicking it
Who
off.
does that? As a woman who owns a bush, that is the thing that you cover up and protect the most under any circumstances.
First of all, if you are going to a spa where you know you will be putting on a robe, everyone knows to keep your underwear on.
Well, what are they going to massage your lips? I mean,
no.
Give me a break.
She's giving you a fucking pedicure, not a...
No.
Snatch-a-cure.
She was weird.
What's a snatch-a-cure?
I don't know, but it made sense to me.
As long as you understand it. Okay, here's the last one. Okay. This is the last one. This one's really awkward. This is an awkward moment. Hardcore.
See, you know what sucks about that last one? It wasn't awkward for the bush. It was awkward for the poor girl. She's the one that had to be awkward. She wasn't even doing anything.
The first one was awkward for everyone.
No, he should have felt like a... He that is invasive and offensive.
It's incredibly offensive.
Stop it.
He's like, I should have held it. I should have excused myself.
Yes, you should have.
You should have. You should have been a man and said, excuse me, I'll return in a moment and gotten
use your restroom
and let it go. God.
Asshole.
There's nothing worse though than being somewhere where you feel like you have a gas bubble and you're like, dear help me, what am I going to do?
It has to be like, I don't know. I've never done it.
I've never done it either. My biggest concern has always been I'm going to have gas during a pelvic or something. Oh, it's never happened.
Yeah.
My body ceases to function when I have to do that.
Mine too.
Nothing.
Besides, you know what? Whenever I go, it's usually the first thing I've done for the day if I have to go get a pelvic.
Of course.
And I don't even eat. Like, I'll drink a little bit of water.
Stephanie, I literally walk in as if I was born that day. There is nothing in my body.
I've had these conversations with my OBGYN and I've told him, I'm like, I don't know why I feel the need. Well, it's part of our awkwardness.
We're awkward. Mm-hmm.
That I have to talk over talk before anything, especially when it's going to be something uncomfortable for me. It's 10 times worse. I have to talk even more. So as I'm doing my, and luckily you don't have to like get undressed in front of them. You're already derobed by the time they come in. But I'm just like, I just wanted to let you know I shaved everything this morning. Everything has lotion and body spray on it.
I'm like, I
just got out of the shower. It's literally been the 40 minutes that it took me to drive here.
And I mean, we're talking.
And I am clean.
There will be nothing.
I'm like, so I should be completely odorless. No, he started laughing. Oh. He's like, well, what? He's like, why are you concerned about that? I'm like, well, I can only imagine the things you've had to go through as a doctor in your field for 20, 30 years and everything. And he's cracking up. He's like, well, we're all unique in our own way. And we all have our own individual scents and odors. And I'm like, oh, please. I go, give me a break. I go, I have seen women in public and I would not want to examine them down there.
Please, are you kidding? Go to church as a child and go to the bathroom during a really dry sermon and go in there and you smell the pussy and nylons.
Or an office. Yeah, like an office like I work at where you're there 9-10 hours a day and everybody's semi-dressed up and you have to go into a stall. That's like the 15th time it's been used this morning.
And someone's off black nylons or hitting the floor.
It is horrible. Thank God for masks. I never was so happy to have masks when I realized I'm like,
telling you,
this is wonderful.
It makes public bathrooms really
because how weird would I look at pre-pandemic of going into the bathroom with a mask on? Everybody would have looked at me like, what are you doing?
What are you from Japan? What are you doing?
You know what's in there.
I know what's in there.
There's nothing wrong with a little prep work, okay?
Okay, here's the final one. This one made me gag a little. While giving a pedicure, I clipped a client's toenail, which flew onto my lip and stuck to my lipstick.
God!
I felt embarrassed and kept it there, trying nonchalantly get it off of my lip while still servicing my client.
Oh, God. I'm going to throw up.
I knew you would. I knew it.
No, that's like, we've had this conversation before about people who accidentally spit on you. Another reason why I love masks when they're talking. Do you wipe it off? Do you leave it there? What, you don't want my spittle on your face? Ellen DeGeneres, that whole thing she goes through is so funny.
I mean, the fact
why are we afraid to wipe it off?
Stephanie, if that had happened, there would have been quite a display.
And we would have been like, ah!
I would have been like, I knew I shouldn't have picked this job. And
just like, you're done.
Like here, take the clippers. Do it yourself.
Not joking.
Do it yourself.
Oh my God. See, I'm still stuffy from my cold.
Oh my God, that's so. Anyway, so yeah, never will I. Can you imagine if that happened to you? If someone was
First
clipping
of all,
your...
okay, that's almost impossible because that would mean I would have voluntarily been working on someone's foot.
No. If
Touching a foot.
If it had been your...
No. Because my toenails are perfect. They would never do that.
It wouldn't go flying off in some random direction like a bullet onto someone's lip, newly glossed
here's
lip.
the thing. All I can imagine is that person had incredibly hard toenails.
Stephanie, I can't.
Which means that they don't clip them regularly or they drink a lot of milk. Because
that's
because
thing?
my toenails are not that strong.
I mean,
they're not soft or whatever, but they're not these hard, raven claws, even when they're unkempt. You know what I mean?
Can't imagine. Or can you imagine waiting so long to get a pedicure and then you're like, I'm getting a pedicure, and they come in with like half-inch long.
I mean,
claws.
We've heard that. Yeah, I can't. You know what? I'm going to end up doing YouTube videos on this. I've been really into watching YouTube videos about people from other countries trying food of other countries.
Okay.
There's this one YouTube. I'm assuming they have these channels, but they're like the same people on it, right?
Okay.
And this one's called Indigenous People Trying American Food.
Oh my God.
Or Indigenous Tribal People Trying Japanese food.
And
so
do they hate it?
Well, it's just their reactions are all over the place, and depending on what they're eating. So the ones that I'm watching right now, they were from I don't know why they call them indigenous people, but they were basically from some very tribal place in Afghanistan or Iraq or Turkey or India, that part of the world.
Rural.
Very. And not the main hubbubs of these places, outskirts.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. And so they made these people try sushi, and it was hilarious. Because they're and they speak in there and they use subtitles so that you can know what they're saying. And they're like, so you're saying that this is fish, really? They're looking at it this can't be fish. It doesn't look anything like fish. And then they try it, and the one guy leans over and he's clearly spitting it out. It was salmon sashimi.
Oh, delicious!
And he's spitting it out, and he comes back on, and he's kind of laughing, and he covers his mouth. He's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I had to go off the camera for a minute because I was retching. My body just retched, and I don't even know why." And so I'm it's 4 a.m. I'm busting up laughing, watching. So now I'm on this trip where I'm watching children eating food from Turkey or odd weird food that they've never tried. It's very funny. Yeah,
I haven't done a YouTube rabbit hole in a minute.
Yeah, I always forget. I'm like, what can you find on YouTube? You can literally find anything.
It's funny. So Daryl and I were in media marketing. We're obsessed with it, and so I had been doing my own personal research because I hate Facebook. I hate it more than anything in the world. I hate it. I keep it because it's just like a hub, and when you have a podcast, you have to have it.
Right.
Stuff like that. But
I would delete my profile if I could.
In general terms, I don't run to it every day. It's not my fave.
I do.
But I have tried ways to customize my experience on Facebook so I wouldn't hate it so much. I've joined a bunch of groups and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have too.
And so it's kind of helped a little bit, but I still hate it. So I'm like, am I alone in this or whatever? Because apparently old people love Facebook. So I did some research.
Yeah, they have 20 friends.
Gen X.
Jerry doesn't get it. He's like, how do you know 360 something people? I'm like, I know. My Facebook is small compared to others.
I know.
How many do you have?
A little over 600. But it's because of the podcast. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with
You've always been more popular than me.
No, shut up. So anyway, I was doing research for Gen X specifically. What social media platforms do Gen X, what do we use, out of curiosity?
TikTok?
No, TikTok is 7%.
Really?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with TikTok.
I love TikTok.
I'm obsessed. You know what? I got to get I have to send you videos. I didn't know you were on it.
What?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I already liked you and Daryl.
We have to share videos.
Actually, I've liked some of the things that you guys have liked on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Your Napa wine stuff and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they're fun.
I love, we love gourmet anything.
Oh my God.
Food and
so
wine.
Much fun.
And, yeah.
So anyway, no, the number one is YouTube. Gen X,
that does not my
Gen X loves
my
YouTube.
son.
No, Gen X loves our age loves YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And then it's Facebook.
I get notifications that said so and so liked your channel. I'm like, I don't have a channel.
Yeah, you do.
I have a channel because my son uses it.
Oh,
no one's liking me. I don't post videos.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to have a channel to like stuff.
You do, but I mean, he actually gets 7 people liked your comment. And
oh my God! Oh, that happens. Yeah.
Because he comments on things.
Well, I became obsessed with Dr. Pimple Popper because of YouTube.
Oh, God, I made Jerry watch that the other day. It was hilarious.
I I literally go, well, it's been 3 weeks. I hope there's some new things. And I'll go on. I'm like, oh my God, I have 5 to watch. This is so exciting. And then I'll just go through, fast forward through all of her product placement shit. And then I'm like, let's get to the nitty gritty. And a lot of people.
She is a real doctor, right?
She is legit.
Okay.
If I ever had anything like that, I would run to her.
Yeah, for sure.
Run to her. And what's funny is when they go there, she's like, well, what made you decide to wait until it was the size of a soccer ball to come and see somebody?
I know, right?
But she's so good because she's all about pain management.
Yes.
She's so obsessed. She's like, do you feel anything? And she over numbs them. And I
Thank God for her. Yeah, right?
I love it. And well, a lot of the people, you can go to other dermatologists when you have that. They'll put you under. And she's like, you don't have to do that.
I don't want to go under.
Yeah, and she's like, you don't have to do that. And so she comes with both all these other things that you can do. And she's so good.
Yeah.
So good. And like these
is.
people don't have scars.
Yeah. Did you see the guy with the nose that had, it was like all bumpity and everything and he couldn't breathe and she had to like burn his nose off?
Yeah, because he was going to be in his daughter's wedding and he didn't want to look like that.
Well, yeah. He said, little kids are scared of me. My grandchildren are scared of me. And she had to literally use that burn thing.
It looks horribly painful, but he was completely
I'm
numb.
sure it was
like there was
painful.
nothing.
No, but he said it was brutal. He in the after confessionals, he was
It was multiple visits.
Oh, God, yes. I think it was 2 or 3.
He could have lost his nose.
Well, he looked 1,000 times better.
He did.
And, but I was just like, this bitch is fucking hardcore.
She is hardcore.
Because I don't know if I could have done all that. I mean.
That's what she does.
I know, but what makes one do that? You know what? I've always had a fascination with trying to decide why or figure out why a doctor chooses the particular type of doctor they're going to be.
Did I ever tell you about that?
Like, what made you be a pimple popper doctor?
I asked when my daughter had a really bad ingrown toenail. Like it was causing her, like she could not walk. It was bad.
Yeah.
So we went to his name, and I will tout him. He was the best. If you have to have a podiatrist, you have to have one. You got to do it.
Yeah.
This guy.
Well, thank God they have them.
Dr. Hook. And he looked like Ryan O'Neal.
Oh, cute.
But older, like an older Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah.
And so we walk in and, Kenzie, of course, is terrified, as I would be, because, he's got to do basically small inpatient surgery.
And it already hurts.
And, she's terrified that she's going to feel stuff. And I was afraid for her as well, because it's like dental work. I don't want to feel anything.
You just don't know.
So he numbs the shit out of her. Her little foot is white because there's so much anesthesia in it.
Good.
And he's like, okay, so the nurse comes in and he puts blankets on her. She's laying down. She's looking at an iPad.
Can't see anything.
And she's talking to me. We're talking. And he goes, see, Mom? And I look, and he's got all the shit in it coming out of her foot. He's like, she can't feel anything. And I'm like, thank you for sharing.
Right.
Okay. I didn't need to see that. Right. But all right.
I'm the type that just wants to say, okay, it's done. Great.
But thank you for showing me the sticks coming out of her foot. That's great.
What was it?
Well, he was just cutting out the toenail. And so during that process, I said, so, Dr. Hook, I go, why would you want to be a podiatrist? Because I can't think of anything I would rather less do.
Right.
I'm like, other than maybe being a gynecologist. He goes, actually, and it was such an interesting story. When he was a little boy, his home was really close to the local doctor office.
Okay.
Like he had a house or whatever, and he treated all the neighborhood. And he goes, and I would go in there, and I was just fascinated with everything. And he goes, you're a smart boy. And so he showed him what an x-ray was. He showed him, everything. And he was really fascinated by it. He goes, you should go to med school. He goes, so I went to med school because of this doctor. And he was a wonderful doctor. And so I went to med school. I actually did really well. And I actually had my choice of a few fields. And they said, you really should go into gynecology or, women's health or whatever, or something of that nature, reproductive services or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, I don't think someone named Dr. Hook should be a gynecologist. He goes, and so the other thing that I really like was like sports injuries, medicine of that sort. He goes, and I ultimately ended up in podiatry. Now he does a lot of surgery.
I'm sure.
What he did with us was like nothing.
Minimal. Yeah.
He does like significant surgery.
Yeah.
He's like, and I just really loved it after that. I help a lot of athletes. I do a lot of hip and
you know what? I can
joint
see that.
and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So it's not just feet.
Well, so my gynecologist said that the reason why he got into gynecology, women's health, was because there's so much joy behind.
There can be, yeah.
Behind giving birth and seeing new life. And, women are always so happy when they're pregnant, getting ready to have a baby. And I was like, that's true. I go, but of course, me being that a freaking pessimist I am, I'm like, yeah, but what if the baby dies and everything? He's like, well, God, that almost never happens.
It's very rare.
Which I'm sure it's very rare.
It is rare.
But obviously, his point was the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, I've asked that about my friends who are, labor and delivery nurses. I'm like, God, it must be really hard when a baby dies. She's like, it is so rare. And when they do, they are before they're even born.
Or they know they're preparing for something bad.
Well, she goes, I have seen babies who I thought for sure weren't going to make it, and they bounce right back.
I know, it's so
insane.
crazy.
Humans are insanely cool.
Yes, very, very cool.
Okay, well, on that note.
Yeah.
That's the end of the show. And so we'll have another show after this, and then we're going to take our break for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yay. Well, not yay for the break, but yay for Thanksgiving.
I can't believe it's already here.
I can't either.
It's insane. Well, not yet. In a couple weeks, but still.
It's coming. It's definitely coming.
We will be taking a little bit of a holiday break because we all need our breaks. Producer Dub specifically is really why we do it. So.
Oh, well, we're sorry that we exhaust you, Producer Dub.
Oh, God. He comes out. The show's done. So,
he wipes his brow.
Out of breath.
He's got a little sweat dripping down. He's like,
I need a drink.
I finished. Yeah, speaking of, you didn't say anything about my idea.
I did. I told him. I thought I loved it. I told her.
Did he like it?
Yeah.
We don't have to do it every show.
No, but it was
But every once in a while, I thought it would be fun.
If you ever come over on a Saturday,
we can sip it while we're doing it.
Have to do it on a Saturday.
Yes, and while we're doing the show, we'll drink them, and then maybe we can talk about it at the end.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, cocktail
hour. And he
hour.
loves making them, and he's so good at it. In fact, and then he can think about what he's going to make us, and we'll be surprised.
If I ever say I'm feeling like a cocktail, he's like, well, let me get to my elixirs.
I know.
And he comes out and he's like,
he puts on his chef's coat. He puts his
what can we do? What can we get? Oh yeah, he's buying all new. He bought a new shaker. He's so excited about. So yeah, I definitely think we should do it.
Yeah, I think it would be fun.
Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.